Hey guys, it's James, and I'm here to bring you another review of a DC straight-to-DVD animated feature. And today I'm going to be reviewing Superman Shazam, The Return of the Black Adam. Now this came out last year and is a collection of four obscure DC characters and really shorts about them. And the first one is really an origin story to Captain Marvel, who is a pretty interesting character in my book, and once again I'm going to review this in the same formula that I reviewed my last Memories review, and since I'm going to review each short individually and then tally them all up and kind of average them out to see my overall feeling for the thing, but I think this one's going to come out a lot better. So the first one is Superman Shazam versus the Black Adam, which is the title of the one, and weirdly enough, for being the title one for this, kind of similar to my Memories review, it's the least interesting out of the four. Now, don't get me wrong, it's really good, and I'm actually kind of disappointed because I really love Captain Marvel as a character. The DC Captain Marvel, I don't know crap about the Marvel Captain Marvel, but anyway, I think it's kind of interesting that they kind of that they even would do a thing for Captain Marvel, and I was kind of disappointed by it because of how they had to shoe in Superman into this and how Superman had to become a part of this. And I honestly felt like Superman kind of got in the way. I don't feel like he contributed much to the plot. But overall, I'll just start out with the good and the bad, and I think we'll start with the bad. And as I said before, with the bad, I think Superman didn't need to be in this. I don't really understand why. I want to really just do a straightforward origin with Captain Marvel. I also feel kind of like this was rushed. And even though these are all about the same length, in fact, I think this is the longest. In fact, I don't know if they're all the same length, but out of all of them, I think this is the longest. This is honestly the one that I think needed to be longer. All the other three, I think, were perfect in the time span they had, but this one kind of feels like a rush. And I think kind of like this is the only one that this is an origin story, why I kind of feel like that's the problem. Since it's an origin story, I want to really learn more about the mythology of the Wizard and Shazam and really learn more about Black Adam, but we really don't. It's just kind of Billy meets Clark Kent, Black Adam attacks him, Billy quickly meets Shazam and then becomes Captain Marvel, and then Billy and Superman defeat Black Adam. It's really straightforward. It's not bad, but it really felt like more could have been done. And for some reason, and keep in mind, I'm only just getting into Captain Marvel, but has his homeless friend always been black? I just kind of felt like that was random. I mean, they got the character right completely, but they just randomly made him black, which is weird because the other interpretations I've seen of him, which aren't in canon, by the way, so I don't know. I've always been a white guy, so I don't know. Anyway, now to get on to the good, which is pretty much the rest. The voice acting is great. They really got the character of Billy and Captain Marvel. The animation is beautiful. Pretty much everything else is done right. It could have done well with pacing, and honestly, I would have liked to get into more Billy's character and the mythology of it. And which is sad because out of the four characters here, Captain Marvel was the only one I watched this for. He was the only character I was interested in when going into this. The other characters, who are not bad characters at all, but it was sad because he was the only character I was interested in going into it. So overall, I think I'll give this one about a 6.5. It's not bad at all. It's just I expected a lot more. Now, the second one is a story of the Spectre, who is essentially, from the research I've done, is supposed to be like God's wrath, and he's essentially kind of a ghost-like character, and he's essentially assigned as like an avenging angel. He's essentially tracks down people who have performed crimes and gotten away with them and kills them. And it's just essentially him kind of solving this kind of noir storyline with this Hollywood producers murdered, and it's him kind of tracking down the killers. The plot's kind of straightforward, but it's interesting. It has a really interesting tone, and the characters are interesting. And overall, it did get me into the Spectre. I feel like it could have explored a lot more, and I feel like it could have understood. They could have explained a lot more about the Spectre, but its overall job was to get me interested in the character. And if its job was to get me interested in the character, then they accomplished that, because the Spectre now interests me. My only real complaint about it is two things. One, like the first one's a little bit rushed, but it's not as bad as the Shazam one, which felt really rushed. This one felt a little rushed, like it could have spanned out and explored a few more things. But overall, it's really enjoyable, and I'll give this one about an 8. And now on to the third one. Now, the third one is a Green Arrow story. Now, this one is good, and I'd say it's on the same level as the Spectre one, but overall, this really doesn't introduce us to Green Arrow. And it's essentially just Green Arrow saving some princess chick who has basically, her family has been murdered, so now she's queen of this country. And basically, her uncle's trying to have her assassinated. And its job is, once again, to get you interested in the Green Arrow. Really, plot-wise, I'd say out of all of them, I'd say this is the best paced. It's really interesting. It's quick, straight to the point. It's just an adventure. Voice acting is great. Animation is really good. Not as good as the next one, but overall, out of all of them, I'd say this one is the second best animated. They really, from what I've seen of Oliver Queen, they really got the character down. They really got his world down. They seem to get his village down, and you get a little cameo appearance from Black Canary in the end, which is always interesting. So this one, besides Captain Marvel, was probably the character that I knew the most about going in, but he was never a character I've been interested in before, because Green Arrow's always kind of come off as a prick to me. But after seeing this, I'm interested. He seems like an interesting character, and he seems to have a lot going for him, so I might check out some Green Arrow stuff after this. And then so overall, I think I'd give that one about a 7.5. Once again, it's good, but could have been better. I don't think it was good as the Spectre one, but overall, now to get into the last one, which is a Jonah Hex story. Now, Jonah Hex is once again a character I know a little bit about also. I know he was a Confederate soldier who became bounty hunter in the Old West. Know a little bit about him. And honestly, over all of the ones, animation-wise, this is probably the best one. You really get the feel of a dirty Old West thing, and you honestly do feel like you're in a Clint Eastwood movie. Overall, this one is a really good one, but it kind of doesn't hit well with me, mainly because out of all of them, I found Jonah Hex to be the least interesting character out of all of them. I mean, it's not like I'm like, oh, this is bad. I'll actually go to a part 2.